Since the last updated video, I've made a few changes. For a start, enemies no longer collide with each other. I genuinely don't know why I ever even considered allowing them to collide, because it really doesn't make any sense at all. In addition, it bogged down the pathfinding algorithm with unnecessary checks and requirements. However, this new system did come with some issues. The largest issue that it caused was that bullets would sometimes hit multiple enemies at once if they were standing close together. My fix for this was not pretty. The main idea is that each bullet has a flag named Deadly. By default, this flag is set to true. Once the bullet deals damage to any one enemy, the flag is set to false and it can't deal damage again. Unfortunately, Godot doesn't like dealing with multiple instances of the same script while processing different variables for each. In effect, this means that I had to create a new instance of each script for each new bullet that gets fired. I'm unsure as to the ramifications of this on memory usage. Get it? Ramifications? Get it? Since I'm not sure if duplicated resources actually free themselves up when they're done being used. Either way, let's move on to something a bit more accessible for the rest of you, or at least for anybody who isn't particularly familiar or interested with Godot's management of resources. In other news, I added a new map. It uses the same tile set as the previous one. It's not exactly expertly crafted, but it does help to be able to test the pathfinding on a one-floor room. Fortunately, I ran into no problems with this one. This is actually my first Godot project using tile sets, and I'm very pleased with the results. I'm able to quickly create a map without having to painstakingly go through each area manually, which is really useful. Also, I've added a rudimentary upgrade system. Well, the skeleton for one at least. Right now it's just a button you can press which increases the enemy HP value and writes it to a file which they can then read it from. Using text files or config files for you Godot nerds out there to store either save data or data collected during each playthrough rather than loading it into RAM is something which a few games have done, including Risk of Rain. My rationalization for having done this is that since these values only need to be loaded once per wave, it's permissible enough to not try to load them into RAM. Unfortunately, that's pretty much all I've done in the past few days. I would have liked to do more, and hopefully I'll get that opportunity in the coming week since I don't have any exams in that period. Of course, this is provided that I don't have a spell of being lazy for a week, which is also a possibility. On the to-do list for next week is to make the enemies actually hurt the player. If I don't do this by the 5th of June, feel free to leave angry and indignant comments. Either way, thanks for watching and stay tuned for even more updates on my video game as well as miscellaneous tangentially related musings on other video games. Also, if I sound a bit different, that's because I'm using a new microphone now. It's no longer a mobile phone. Hooray!